Man learned during a checkup that the wound on his arm still wouldn't heal. Even his secretary had the same issue, so he quickly looked it up and realized he might have HIV. He had only been with his wife and once with his secretary, but the secretary insisted it was her first time. That made him wonder whether his wife infected him or the secretary lied. What he didn't know was that his wife learned a month earlier that the secretary had HIV, and she had planned to tell him, but then she overheard the two getting intimate in his office. She felt struck by lightning. Thinking of the vows he once made only made her feel foolish, so she chose to hide the secretary's test results, and her husband immediately hid the secretary under his desk. Seeing the red stain on his shirt and the secretary under the table, she didn't expose them and quietly walked away. After leaving the office, she reminded the staff to keep all medical results strictly private, but as she was leaving, the scheming secretary flashed the mark on her neck to provoke her. The woman had no idea she was sick. She even threw coffee on the wife, but the wife wasn't someone to mess with and slapped her hard. Seeing the broken cup, the secretary tried to fight back, but the wife slapped her again even harder. Hearing the noise, the cheating husband rushed out. He shot his wife a smug look, then carried the secretary to the medical room. Seeing this, he felt he'd done the right thing hiding the secretary's HIV. That night, the wife returned home and prepared a divorce agreement. She decided to cut ties with that filthy man. The clueless husband still tried to please her, saying he'd eat with her that night, but before she could soften, he got a call from work. He panicked and rushed out to find the secretary. The wife didn't try to stop him and simply told him to sign the divorce papers, so he signed without thinking, then left without looking back to find the secretary, not knowing he had just signed a real divorce. At that moment, the husband had already fallen into the secretary's trap. They had even grown feelings for each other, and since he didn't come home the whole night, the wife already knew the answer. Then the secretary sent her photos of her and the husband together. That convinced her even more that he had HIV. Soon the wife finally received their divorce certificate. At that moment, her assistant brought her an auction invitation. It was said rare treasures from around the world would be sold. Thinking the husband and the secretary would attend, she decided to go and tell him the truth about the secretary's illness. An hour later, the auction began and the husband arrived with the secretary. The wife showed up in a striking gown. The husband mocked her, asking why she wasn't home cooking. He had no idea they were already divorced. Then the auction started, and they had to stop arguing. The first item was a bracelet. The husband bid $10 million right in front of her. He said it was a birthday gift for the secretary. He thought it would upset his wife, but she wasn't upset at all, because they no longer had anything to do with each other and he could give it to anyone he wanted. Her real goal was the item said to slow HIV. She wanted the husband to beg her, so she immediately bid $30 million, but that made the secretary suspicious. She whispered to the man asking if the wife had HIV and was desperate for the item. The husband panicked and rushed to confront his wife. Everyone began gossiping about her, but she ignored them and raised her bid to $35 million. That enraged the husband and he bid $100 million on the spot. Seeing how badly he wanted it, she suspected he already knew he was infected. Since that was the case, she stopped fighting for it, so the husband won the item for $100 million. The clueless secretary insisted the wife must have HIV, so the husband asked the wife why she wanted it so badly. She didn't explain and only asked if he would give it to her if she truly had HIV. Her words made him think she had cheated on him. That made her realize that if she really had HIV, he would never save her. Then the husband smashed the cure right in front of her. He even said that was the price of betraying their marriage. The wife calmly pulled out the secretary's test results, and when the husband read the secretary's name, he finally realized he was finished.